Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to today's Sohbet and Dhikr on this, the 24th of December 2020, Christmas Eve. Wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Yes, I know some people might be surprised about that. There are differences of opinion within the Muslim community as to whether you can celebrate Christmas or not. This is true, and no one can gloss over that and suggest otherwise. But I celebrate Christmas, and I always have. I never stopped celebrating Christmas when I embraced Islam 20 years ago. I was never really into the overly Christian religious side of Christmas, to be honest, but there is an aspect of Christmas which has always meant something to me, and I've always celebrated it, and that continues. And I will discuss a bit more in this Sohbet about Christmas, because I think it's an appropriate time, obviously, on Christmas Eve. Hello, how are you? It's an appropriate time on Christmas Eve to have a Sohbet about Christmas, and to clear up some of the misconceptions that people have about Christmas. And a lot of people have misconceptions about Christmas. Muslims have misconceptions about Christmas because obviously it is understood to be a Christian festival, and we are Muslims, we have our own faith. So why would Muslims celebrate Christmas? This is a question that is often asked. And there are other people who are not Muslims, people who are Christians, for instance, who will wonder why Muslims and other people of other faiths celebrate Christmas. There's so many different factors to Christmas. It's not the way some people think, that just simplistically Christmas is a Christian festival and Christians celebrate Christmas, and that it is the birthday of Jesus Christ, and Jesus Christ is part of the Trinity as Christians understand. I mean, obviously as Muslims hold a different viewpoint on that, but as they understand. And some people think if you do anything to do with Christmas that you are subscribing to Christian doctrines. It's a point of view. They are entitled to their point of view, just as we and other people are entitled to our various points of view. But to wish someone a Merry Christmas, firstly, let's get the greeting out of the way. If you wish someone Merry Christmas, or even Happy Diwali, or some other festival, even Happy Halloween, you are just giving a greeting. A greeting. And a greeting doesn't mean that you are subscribing to anybody else's theological opinions. A greeting doesn't mean that you are making a declaration of faith, as we would say, of any particular religion. A greeting is a greeting. So whether people celebrate Christmas or not, whether people think you should celebrate Christmas or not, we should at least greet those who celebrate Christmas and wish them a Merry Christmas, because it is their festival and they celebrate it. So we shouldn't make too much of an issue about that. Then, as for Christmas itself, Christmas is in the United Kingdom, across Northern Europe, and wherever Northern European people went is a very important festival. Not just in Northern Europe, also in Russia and Southern Europe. There's different versions of Christmas as well. It's not all the same thing. People even celebrate Christmas on different days. So, for instance, in the United Kingdom and in a lot of Western European countries, and also in the United States and other countries that were started by Western European countries, we tend to celebrate Christmas on December the 25th. Now this is the date that the Romans set. It is a date that comes from the Roman calendar. And originally there was a festival on that day. Sorry, let me clear my throat. Business. Originally, on the 25th of December, there was a Roman festival, and it was an important date in the Roman calendar. There's also the solstice. Now, the solstice is an astronomical phenomenon, and if you live in Northern Europe, the solstice, the winter solstice, that is the shortest day of the year and the longest night of the year, that solstice falls on the 21st of December. So between the 21st and 22nd of December, that is the longest night, the shortest day. And if you live in the southern hemisphere, because the seasons are reversed, that is the summer solstice. That means that the day is the longest day of the year, and it is the shortest night. Now obviously there's only 24 hours in a day, but this is talking about the hours of daylight. Now this is a significant thing. As well as being an astronomical phenomenon, this is a very significant thing for people living in temperate regions. If we are going to farm, if we are going to know when to start planting the crops the following year, we need to know the solstices. We need to know the solstices and the equinoxes. The equinoxes are the midpoints between the solstices. We also need to have a solar year. If we didn't have a solar year, wa alaikum assalam. Nice to meet you, Jenna. If we didn't recognize the solstices and the equinoxes, then we wouldn't know when to plant our crops. So we need to use this solar calendar. Even if for other purposes we use various religious calendars or other kinds of calendars. But when it comes to planting crops, if you live outside the tropics, then you need to follow a solar calendar. If you live inside the tropics, it's less important because there's not so clearly marked seasons. And if you live in the tropical regions, it tends to be a difference between a wet season and a dry season. But there isn't so much difference in temperature. It's not like, some months might be a bit warmer than other months, but it's not going to be like some months are absolutely freezing and some months are hot. This is what we have in temperate regions. Now, obviously, when there's that much difference in the weather, then it makes a huge difference as to whether we can actually plant a crop outside, whether that crop will grow, whether that crop will die. Even not just with crops, but also with animals. If you have sheep, the lambs have to be born in the spring. You can't have the lambs being born in the middle of the winter. They're going to die. And that's also an interesting thing about the date of Christmas, which shows that, that Christmas, the original birthday of Jesus probably wasn't on the 25th of December, because the shepherds were looking after their flocks and lambs were being born, if we read the gospel accounts. So that means that if that be the case, then it must have been in the spring. Jesus must have been born in the spring. Peace and blessings be upon him. But for various reasons, the church set a date to celebrate his birthday on the 25th of December, which just falls just after the winter solstice. This is when the days start getting longer again. But at the same time, it's the middle of the winter. It is the darkest months of the year. For those people who haven't experienced it, who live in other countries, it means that it will get light about 8:30 in the morning, and it will get dark at 4 o'clock at night. So from 4 o'clock at night right the way through till 8:30 the following morning, it is dark. If you go further north even, you might not even see the sun, because there gets to a point at which you get into the Arctic Circle and you get 6 months of darkness. And similarly, the reverse, if you live in the southern hemisphere, then that will be around June, July time, you get the same thing. So it's important that we know this. It's important that we set our year out as far as planting crops is concerned, and farming practices in general, that we follow the solar calendar. Now, of course, we are Muslims, and as Muslims we have another calendar. We have the Hitri Calendar, and the Hitri Calendar is not seasonal. The Hitri Calendar originated in the Middle East 1400 years ago. Now, if you live in Saudi Arabia, there is no winter, there is no summer. So it's not necessary to follow the seasons in the same way it's necessary for people to follow the seasons who live in temperate regions such as Britain. It's also, you don't need a cheer me up in the middle of winter because there is no winter. But if you live in northern regions or very southern regions in the middle of winter, you have, around this time of the winter solstice, you get a very dark time of the year. You don't get much sunlight. And a lot of people suffer seasonal depression because of this. Literally, people get depressed because there's not enough sunshine. We actually need sunshine in order to set our body clock, in order to cheer us up. It's not just you feel better when you're in the sun. You actually benefit from it in a big way. So it's like when we don't have that in the winter, it affects us. We also make less vitamin D. And because we make less vitamin D, we are more vulnerable to colds and flus around this time of the year, which is a good reason why, if you live in these regions, it's a very good idea to take vitamin D supplements. Irrespective of the complexion of your skin, you will benefit from it. It will help you fight the flu. But we get that. And so we have this cultural festival even before people become Christians in Northern Europe. There was a cultural festival around the time that we now have Christmas. And it was the biggest festival of the year. It must have been. That's why the church fixed Jesus' birthday on it, because they wanted to bring people's focus away from these pre-Christian, whatever they were focusing on, and focus instead upon Jesus and the life of Jesus, because they were the Christian church and Jesus is the center of their faith. So that's the reason why they fixed Jesus' birthday, even though it wasn't when he was actually born, but the celebration. That's why they fixed it at Christmas time, what we now call Christmas time, what is the midwinter, the solstice time. It's because there was this important festival that everybody had every year. Midwinter cheer them up. They decorate their houses. And what did they bring into their houses? They brought in, now they bring in Christmas trees. This is a German tradition. But in this country, people brought in evergreen leaves. So people would bring into their houses holly and other kinds of evergreen leaves, and they would decorate their houses with it. They'd bring mistletoe into the houses, because mistletoe also doesn't, it keeps its leaves in winter. And yet, if they had some pine or something, they'd put some pine in their houses, or some yew, to decorate their houses with these green leaves that don't die in the winter. It's to remind them of life. That although everything's dead in the middle of winter, that life continues. That God lives forever. And, they had their belief in God. It would have been a bit different, but they had a belief in the divine. They realized that although everything's dying, everything will begin again in the spring. So it's a reminder festival to remind people that life will continue. Now, this got tacked on to Christmas. And this is why you have some things that people might not understand and say, well, why do people have Christmas trees? Why do people put lights in their homes? Well, of course, lights originally would have been a fire in a fireplace. It would have been candles. People would have lit their houses up around this time of the year to cheer them up and make them feel better. And, because obviously it's a very dull time of the year. And they would put evergreen leaves in their homes. These are pre-Christian traditions that when people become Christians and Jesus' birthday was fixed at that time of the year, it continued. It continued and became part of Christmas. Also, Father Christmas. Father Christmas is a Viking tradition. Probably the name has changed. The colour of the suit has changed. Originally, Father Christmas would have been depicted wearing like green clothes or brown clothes. Probably has some connection to the mythical Odin. But again, this is part of our European cultural heritage. And the idea of giving gifts and looking after the children in the middle of the winter. These are traditions that have come into Christianity, and the Christians adopted them from them. So this become part of Christmas. But at the same time, that wasn't the original Christmas that would have been brought from the Middle East. And, religions adapt in this way. If you go to more southern Europe, they will talk about Saint Nicholas. Saint Nicholas was a Christian saint. So this is a very Christian tradition. And actually, Father Christmas is a hybrid. It's a hybrid tradition between Saint Nicholas, who was a Christian saint, and his Viking Father Christmas, or I don't know exactly what they called him, but this figure that was in the middle of winter who would go and give gifts. And they merged over time into what we now call Father Christmas or Santa Claus. But originally these were two separate traditions. But Saint Nicholas also used to go around people's houses and he would give presents, especially to poor children. And, you know, this is where that tradition comes from, both from the Viking tradition and also this Christian saint. The look that we have now is more Viking than Saint Nicholas. If you look at depictions of Saint Nicholas, it looks different from what we understand as Father Christmas. But if you look at old Viking traditions and Viking festivals, you know, what they depicted, that looks more like Father Christmas. So we have this hybrid now, and this is part of the culture in Europe. It's celebrated by people whether or not they are Christians. And then, of course, as well as this, you have the actual Christian Christmas, which is going to church in the middle of what is, well, at Christmas time, whenever people celebrate it. In Russia, it's a different day. If you go to somewhere like the Philippines, it's not even in the middle of winter. But when they celebrate Christmas, Christians go to church, and they will perform a mass, which is a religious service in the church. So there's that side of Christmas, and they will sing carols. They will sing like we sing narts and stuff, but they'll have different music to it, celebrating Jesus. This is the religious side of Christmas. They will tell the story of Jesus according to the Christian tradition. But Christmas today is a hybrid of all of these traditions. And depending on where people are, how Christmas is celebrated will vary. For me, Christmas has always been a cultural festival. My parents were not particularly religious, so they didn't go to church at Christmas time. But we did put up a Christmas tree, and we gave each other Christmas presents. And we also put lights and tinsel and streamers in the house to decorate the house in the middle of the winter. But we didn't go to church at Christmas, but we still celebrated Christmas. And this is how a lot of people will celebrate Christmas in Europe and in America. Now, there's a good side to that is about giving gifts, coming together, having a Christmas dinner, and the Christmas dinner, sharing food together. This is a tradition that again goes back to people before they were Christians. The Vikings would have done that. They would have had these big longhouses, and in the longhouse they would all come together and have big meals in the middle of winter, to cheer them up as part of these festivities. The Romans would have done something similar. So it's like this is something that I think food traditions are in every culture, but it's something that goes before Christmas, and it's also, since people become Christians, it becomes part of Christmas as well. This is part of culture. It can be religious, it can be part of religion, but it's also part of culture, whether people have a religion or not. So this is why people do this. And it's interesting how many people I know who don't celebrate Christmas because they are Muslims, and according to their understanding of Islam, they don't celebrate Christmas. Yet they often have a Christmas dinner and cook a turkey or something and have all the Christmas trimmings and stuff quietly in their own homes, because of course they don't celebrate Christmas and don't have a Christmas tree or anything. Well, they're still celebrating Christmas, whether they want to call it celebrating Christmas or not. They still are. So it is very much ingrained in the cultural milieu of this country. Just like if you go to India, Diwali is a very important festival for everybody in India. It doesn't have to be a Hindu. The Sikhs celebrate it. You also have Buddhists who celebrate Diwali. Christians will celebrate Diwali, and Muslims will celebrate Diwali if they're Indians, because it's part of the Indian culture. Whether they celebrate it in exactly the same way as the Hindus or not, probably not. Probably some things, but not everything. In much the same way, I and other people who are not Christians are celebrating Christmas, but not everything necessarily. Muslims in the UK, some people will celebrate Christmas with Christmas trees, with turkeys, and do the cultural side of it. Some people will also take part in interfaith activities with Christians and, visit churches and stuff. Maybe not join in 100% with everything where it's awkward for us, for our own beliefs, but look for that common ground and say, well, yes, in Islam, we also believe in Jesus, in the miraculous birth of Jesus. We believe that he was born of a virgin. We believe in Mary. There are some differences, like we believe that Mary she gave birth to Jesus by a palm tree and shook a palm tree and dates come down. So actually, Maulana Sheikh Nazim said this, that if you want to celebrate Christmas and do it in an Islamic way, you could eat dates, because dates are, part of the Islamic story of the birth of Jesus. But this is also a Christian tradition. It's not one found in the Bible, but it is one found in one of the Gospels that didn't make it into the Bible. There are actually a lot of Gospels that were not included into the Christian Bible, but they're still Christian texts. It was just the church accepted some in their Bible when they organized the Bible, and others they were a bit doubtful of, so they didn't include them. But you can actually get hold of some of these other books now, and I've got them in my own collection. They are the Non-Canonical Gospels. Some call them Apocrypha. Others are not even in the Apocrypha. They are found in the like the Naqshbandi scrolls and other kinds of groups of Christian documents that were lost over time. Some were stored. They weren't all destroyed. The church did destroy a lot. Some they locked away in the Vatican library. But they were not published by the church. They were not included in the Bible because the church didn't accept them as being the official narrative. It's not quite as clear as with the Quran. It's like all Muslims accept the Quran. Sunni, Shia, Salafi, even if we disagree on all manner of other things, the Quran is the Quran. At least, alhamdulillah, for us Muslims, this is a great blessing. Quran is Quran. Within Christianity, there are actually different collections of the biblical texts. So some Christian groups will accept some and not others. Some Christian groups will accept a lot of the texts, but then they'll put more emphasis on those texts than on others. So there are actually differences between the composition of the books in the various Bibles. The Catholic Bible has more books in it than the Protestant Bible. The Ethiopian Bible has some different books in it that are not included in the Catholic and Protestant Bibles. And that's because these different churches made different decisions on which books are canonical, as we would say Sahih, which books are Sahih for them, which books are authentic and which books aren't authentic. And of course different groups of Christian scholars come to different decisions. Just like within Islam, when it comes to Hadith, there are some Hadith collections that are accepted by Sunnis but not by Shia. There are some Hadith collections that are accepted by the Shia but not by Sunnis. They're all Hadiths, but different groups of scholars accepted different groups of Hadith. In a similar way with the Gospels and with the other Christian texts, some Christian groups accepted some but didn't accept others. So, all this, it's complicated. When you get somebody who comes to you and gives you a talk on Christmas or giving Christmas greetings, and they make it sound all simple, I'm telling you, they don't understand Christianity and they don't understand Christmas, because it's not straightforward. It's not clear cut. So, and there's so many differences between Christian groups. Even like on something as simple as the Mass, the actual main Christian service that a lot of Christians celebrate. They go to church, the bread and the wine that Christians have. In the Catholic Church, to this day, they believe that when they do that religious ritual, that the bread literally turns into the body of Christ, and the wine literally turns into the blood of Christ. They believe that literally, whereas in the Church of England they don't accept that. They say it is a metaphor. It's not literal. It's a metaphor. It is a custom of coming together, and we share the bread together, and it means the body of the church is one. It doesn't mean that, that's literally the body and the blood of Jesus. But Christians vary on this. Now that's a bigger difference than you'll find amongst a lot of Muslim groups onto what we believe on many things anyway. So that is quite critical. So this is the differences that you have between Christians. So if anybody comes to you and says, oh, this is how it is, this is what Christians believe, and if you do X, Y, and Z, then you are agreeing with this, then they're ignorant. They're not talking from a position of knowledge. You've got Christian groups that don't even celebrate Christmas. If you look at the Jehovah's Witnesses, they don't even believe in Christmas. They, like Muslims, say, well, Christmas wasn't on December the 25th. That wasn't when Jesus was born. So because of it, they don't celebrate Christmas. There's a lot of diversity among the Christians. But for a lot of people, and this is generalizing when I say it's complicated, but even so, for a lot of people, they celebrate Christmas as both a cultural festival, and if they are Christians, they celebrate it as a religious festival as well. But although these are celebrated at the same time, there is a difference between the cultural festival of Christmas and the religious festival of Christmas. There's a difference between celebrating either of these and subscribing to doctrines that Christians believe that would be problematic for Muslims. So we have to keep this in mind. There's different factors here. And if people join in some elements of Christmas because it's part of their culture, it doesn't mean that they are doing anything wrong as far as their religion is concerned, if they are not Christian. And these are not their, some of the beliefs of Christians are not their religious beliefs. And we have to be understanding towards that. You can't go making takfir on people just because they do something which is a bit different from you because of their culture. In Indonesia, most Indonesians take part in Ramayana festivities. The Ramayana is a Hindu story. The Ramayana is a Hindu sacred text. And they make festivities in Indonesia based on the Ramayana and tell the story of the Ramayana because this is part of their cultural heritage. In a similar way, people in Europe, regardless of their religious beliefs, tell the story of the ancient Greeks, their myths, tell the stories of Zeus and Apollo and Athena and these Greek gods and goddesses. In Northern Europe, people tell the stories of Odin and Thor, and these have even become part of the Marvel universe in a slight variation, but still based upon the original Viking myths about Odin and Thor and their mythology. But they are not part of the religion of people anymore. But does that mean that just because this is not part of people's religion that we just get rid of it all? These Marvel characters, these Marvel stories wouldn't exist if that were the case. It is part of our cultural heritage, and it is not a good idea to destroy and desecrate and get rid of our cultural heritage. Our cultural heritage is a richness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has gifted us with. It's not something that we should just discard because our religious beliefs, our theology has changed. And, as long as we understand what we are doing, then it doesn't mean that we're doing something wrong. A good example of this is, what is the difference between an idol and a doll? Or an idol and a teddy? Both are figures. They are figures that you could put on an altar and worship. Whether it's an idol or a Barbie doll or a teddy, you could stick any of those on an altar and pray to it and worship it, if you were so inclined, if you believed that if that was worth doing. It doesn't have to be one of these ancient gods or goddesses that people used to worship. But there's a difference, because there's, irrespective, even if they look similar in form, a doll or a teddy is a toy. It is played with. It's not something which is worshipped. It might look similar, but it is not something that is worshipped. The intention is different. And when the intention is different, then what you're doing is different. Even if some aspects of it may seem the same. On the other hand, you don't even need an idol to commit shirk, to commit idolatry. If you worship money, if you worship power, if you worship the opposite sex, or you worship some superstar, and that becomes your entire, you're only thinking about that all the time, and that takes over your life, and you live for that, and that becomes your idol. Why do you think we fast in the month of Ramadan? We fast because even our stomach can become our idol. We can worship our stomach. Because if we don't control it, then our stomach is controlling us. And our stomach becomes our God, so to speak. This is why we are taught to fast. This is why even when we're not fasting, we are taught to monitor what we eat. And not just eat because we want it, because its food is there. But to think, well, did I have breakfast? Yeah, I had breakfast. I only ate a couple of hours ago. So you don't just suddenly, I'll just keep eating all through the day and not stopping. That's how people end up putting weight on and, becoming unhealthy. You have a meal, you let your stomach rest, then eat a bit later. It's about balance. This is a practice of Muslims. This is the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in addition to fasting, so that their stomach doesn't become our God. But to understand these things, we have to understand Islam not on just a surface level, but understand what Islam is really teaching us. Islam is a very deep, not just a belief, but it's also like a philosophy and a way of life. People might describe it as a philosophy, but it kind of is. It is a way of understanding the world. It is a way of understanding our interactions. And it is living that and practicing that in everything that we do. If we understand Islam, we can celebrate Christmas or Easter without committing shirk. If we don't understand Islam, we may end up committing shirk and all manner of sins. It's nothing to do with Christmas, even if you don't celebrate Christmas, even if you don't do anything like that. It all comes down to understanding and knowing what you're doing. And also understanding the difference between what is a religious ritual, what is a declaration of faith, what is a cultural festivity, what is art, what is a bit of fun. See, they're all different things. If we understand this and where everything fits in its proper context, then we won't fall into problems. But if we don't understand that, then we can get terribly confused and also terribly fearful about everything. And this is something I see all the time when you get these fire and brimstone preachers. And they're just like the Christian fire and brimstone preachers, which they're very harsh in what they're saying. And you must do it this way. If you don't do it this way, then you'll fall astray and everything you're doing is wrong. This is ignorance. This isn't from a perspective of knowledge. This isn't from a perspective of understanding. It's not even from a perspective of justice. Allah is Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, the most compassionate, the most kind. Allah is Al-Ghaffar, the most forgiving. Allah is the most just. Allah is not going to wrong people because something which they have done is a little bit different from somebody else, but it's not really sinful. But if we fear everything is a sin, if we go over the top on these things, then we will create problems for ourselves and for other people. If we are living in a country where there is a culture and there are certain festivals that are celebrated throughout that year, whether we join in those festivals or not, we should at least have good relations with our neighbours. We should at least wish them well every day of the year, not just on Christmas or New Year, but every day of the year. They are our neighbours. They are the people we live with. If people from those communities come into Islam, they're still going to have some cultural aspects from their heritage. They're not going to become Arabs or Pakistanis. They're going to have their own cultural way of doing things. But as long as their belief is La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they are Muslims. As long as they understand that there is no God except God, and Muhammad is the messenger of God, along with all the previous messengers, they are Muslim. But culturally they might do some things a bit different, just as the Turks do some things a bit different from the Moroccans, and the Moroccans do things a bit different from the Saudis, and the Saudis do things different from the Indonesians. Well, it's not going to be the case that the British are going to do things a little bit different from the Saudis, and the Russians are going to do something a bit different from the British when they're Muslims. Obviously. Even what I'm wearing a Christmas jumper, as I commented earlier on 164 channel, because I celebrate Christmas. It's part of my cultural heritage. But I'm also wearing a jumper because it gets cold this time of the year. If I'm just wearing a shirt, I'm going to feel cold. And I don't want to overburn the heating, especially, we're supposed to be more concerned about the environment, and it's also expensive, So I will use the heating, obviously, but I'll also put a jumper on. Because it's to do with the climate. And why not wear a decorated jumper? Why have to wear one that's all one colour? I hope this has given you something to think about and to reflect upon and to help you understand a little bit better. If anybody has any questions, please send them to me and I'll be happy to answer them. But I think we've done enough talking for now, and it's time that we should switch to, not to say that we weren't remembering Allah during our talking, but it's time to switch to the deeper remembrance of Allah by doing our zikr. And this is the traditional zikr of the Naqshbandi tariqat. This is the today I'm going to read Maulana Sheikh Nazim's zikr like I normally do. Sometimes I read the zikr of Gamgor Sharif, which is another variation on the Naqshbandi zikr. They're both Naqshbandi zikrs. Zikr means remembrance, or it's short for zikr Allah, which means the remembrance of God. It is a form of meditation. It's also a form of prayer, a form of worship. As Muslims, we believe the one who remembers Allah invites the blessings of Allah. It brings our souls closer in connection with Allah. And those who remember Allah in this world Allah remembers them in a better place. This is mentioned in Hadith. And also salawat. Salawat is reading blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad and his family. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself reads blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad and his family. It's in the Quran. So if we read blessings on the Prophet Muhammad and his family, we are actually performing a sunnah, not only of the Prophet Muhammad but the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Before we begin, we check our intentions, check we're doing this purely for the pleasure of Allah. I would also, like I did last week, I would like to dedicate this Dhikr this week to some of my friends who are currently in hospital at the moment, or being cared for at home with COVID-19. Alhamdulillah, I've heard Dr. Safi Kaskas is responding well to treatment, and also my friend Nuning's husband at the same time. But they are still in hospital, and I have a few other friends who are also being cared for with COVID at this moment. So we'll read the Dhikr and keep them in mind, and if we're in good health, we should be thankful to Allah that we're in good health, and pray for those who are suffering with COVID or with other illnesses, and ask that Allah grants them to be in good health, and also lifts this coronavirus pandemic from our human family, and out of hardship grants us ease, as is his promise in Surah Al-Alaq. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. نويت العبيد نويت الأسرى نويت الخوة نويت الاعتكاف نويت السلوك نويت الريادة لله تعالى في هذا الجميع. We begin with the Kalama Shahada. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. We seek the forgiveness of Allah by reciting Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. أستغفر الذي الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه إنه هو التواب الرحيم يا مسبب الأسباب يا مفاتيح الأبواب يا مقلب القلوب والأبصار يا دليل متخير يا غاية مستحية يا حي يا قيوم يا ذو الجلال والإكرام وأفريد أمري الله إن الله بصير بالعباد. Rabbi Sharifa, direct your heart to the heart of your Sheikh, heart of your spiritual guide. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Salawatul Sharifa, calling for blessings upon the Holy Prophet Muhammad and his noble family. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن منوس يسرا إن منوس يسرا فإذا فرغت فانساب ولدى ربك فقب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعناك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن منوس يسرا إن منوس يسرا فإذا فرغت فانساب ولدى ربك فقب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعناك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن منوس يسرا إن منوس يسرا فإذا فرغت فانساب ولدى ربك فقب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعناك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن منوس يسرا إن منوس يسرا فإذا فرغت فانساب ولدى ربك فقب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعناك وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن منوس يسرا إن منوس يسرا فإذا فرغت فانساب ولدى ربك فقب بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. صلوات الشريفة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم. 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 اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم 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 اللهم صل على محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم 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 اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم. صلي ربي وسلم على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين والكريم أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ربي قد أتيتني من الملك ورمتني من طول الحديث فاطر السماوات والأرض أنت ولي في الدنيا والآخرة توفاني مسلما والحقني بالصالحين. آمن بالله صدق الله العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. إلا الشرف نبي وآله وصحبه الكرام وإلى الله أنبياء والمرسلين وقدماء الشرائم وإلى إماتي أبوا وإلى مشيخنا في تلك نقشبندية تالية قصتني عليك وجغان الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. No God but God. There is nothing worthy of worship except the true God. In Arabic, La ilaha illallah. La ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha illallah. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. La ilaha illallah, 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 la ilaha illallah. Muhammed Rasulullah sallallahu aleyhi ve sellem. حسبنا لا قوة ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم إلا الصراف نبي وعلي وأصحاب كرام وإلى الله سعي سلاطين وصديقيون الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The remembrance of God in Arabic, Allah. Allah, 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 Allahu Allah, 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 Allahu Allah, 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 Allahu Allah, 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 Allahu Allah, 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 Allahu Allah, 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 Allahu 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 Allah, 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 Allah. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل والحول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Who, which means is, although is with us always. Truth. Haq, 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 haq. Hay, 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 hey, 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 hey. Hasbana la wali wa ki wala 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 quwwata illa billahi al-ali al-azim. بسم الله الرحيم. الله الله حق 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 الله الله هي 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 الله هي يا قيوم 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 حسب الله ونعم الوكيل ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Calling on the beautiful names of Allah in Arabic. Allah has many names in many different languages, but these are the Arabic ones. Yahu, Yahu, Ya Daib. Yahu, Yahu, Ya Daib. Yahu, Yahu, Ya Daib. Allah, Yahu, Ya Daib. Ya Daib, Ya Daib, Ya Daib, Ya Allah. Ya Daib, Ya Daib, Ya Daib, Ya Allah. Ya Halim, Ya Halim, Ya Halim, Ya Allah. Ya Halim, Ya Halim, Ya Halim, Ya Allah. Ya Hafiz, Ya Hafiz, Ya Hafiz, Ya Allah. Ya Hafiz, Ya Hafiz, Ya Hafiz, Ya Allah. Ya Latif, Ya Latif, Ya Latif, Ya Allah. Ya Latif, Ya Latif, Ya Latif, Ya Allah. Ya Ghafar, Ya Ghafur, Ya Ghafar, Ya Ghafur. Ya Ghafar, Ya Ghafur, Ya Ghafar, Ya Ghafur. Ya Sattar, Ya Fatah, Ya Sattar, Ya Fatah. Ya Sattar, Ya Fatah, Ya Sattar, Ya Fatah. Ya Mujib, Ya Mujib, Ya Mujib, Ya Allah. Ya Mujib, Ya Mujib, Ya Mujib, Ya Allah. Ya Mu'in, Ya Mu'in, Ya Mu'in, Ya Allah. Ya Mu'in, Ya Mu'in, Ya Mu'in, Ya Allah. Ya Mughith, Ya Mughith, Ya Mughith, Ya Allah. Ya Mughith, Ya Mughith, Ya Mughith, Ya Allah. Ya Wadud, Ya Wadud, Ya Wadud, Ya Allah. Ya Wadud, Ya Wadud, Ya Wadud, Ya Allah. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahim, Ya Karim, Ya Rahim, Ya Karim, Ya Rahim, Ya Karim, Ya Rahim, Ya Karim, Ya Hannan, Ya Mannan, Ya Hannan, Ya Mannan, Ya Hannan, Ya Mannan, Ya Hannan, Ya Mannan, Ya Dayyan, Ya Subhan, Ya Dayyan, Ya Subhan, Ya Dayyan, Ya Subhan, Ya Dayyan, Ya Subhan. Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Allah. Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Allah. Ya Aman, Ya Aman, Ya Aman, Ya Allah. Ya Aman, Ya Aman, Ya Aman, Ya Allah. Ya Salam, Ya Salam, Ya Salam, Ya Allah. Ya Salam, Ya Salam, Ya Salam, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. حسبنا ونعم الوكيل ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. صلوات الشريفة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم. 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 اللهم صل على محمد محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم اللهم صل على 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 محمد وعلى اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم 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 اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل هادي محمد وسلم على وسلم على محمد وعلى 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 هادي محمد وسلم على وسلم على محمد محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم على وسلم على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم على وسلم على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم على وسلم على محمد وعلى آل محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم على وسلم على محمد على وسلم على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم على وسلم على محمد وعلى هادي محمد وسلم على وسلم على محمد وعلى آل 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 محمد وسلم سلي الرب والسلام على جميع أنبياء ومرسلين وآل كل أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين على أشرف الأنبياء سيدنا محمد الصلوات على أفتار نبينا سيدنا محمد الصلوات على أكمال نبينا سيدنا محمد الصلوات صلوات الله وملائكته وأنبيائه ورسوله وجميع خلقه على محمد وعلى آل محمد عليه وعليهم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته ورضي الله تبارك وتعالى عن سادتنا شعب رسول الله أجمعين وعن تبعنا بهم بإحسان وعن أمتي مجتدين أمتين وعن علماء المتقين وعن أولياء الصالحين وعن مسيحنا في تلك نقشبندية تالية كرسنا وتراهم الزاكية ونور وترى درات بركة ورلا وترى علينا من بركاتهم وفيضاتهم دائما والحمد لله رب العالمين الفاتحة بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. O Allah, we beseech you and ask that you bless the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his noble family and raise their stations in your divine presence. And we ask that you bless his noble ancestors and his noble descendants, and especially the Ahlul Bayt, especially Imams Ali, Hassan, Hussein, Zain al-Abidin, Jafar Sadiq, and all of the Ahlul Bayt. O Allah, we ask that you bless all the previous prophets, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and all of the ones in between, and all of the others, those we've heard about and those we haven't. And especially bless Prophet Jesus, as people are celebrating his birthday in the next few days, Ya Allah. Whether they have the right day or the wrong way, Ya Allah, reward everybody for their intentions. Grant everybody according to their intentions and according to the what is in their heart, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant them, forgive them, bless them, Ya Allah. O Allah, shower your blessings upon all of the Sahaba Ikram, the Khilafa Rashideen, the ulama, the awliya, and especially my Sheikh Sufi Abdullah and Mulana Sheikh Nazim. Ya Allah, raise their stations in your divine presence. Bless their souls for all eternity. O Allah, shower your blessings also on Sunan Gunanjati, upon all the other Wali Songo, upon Sheikh Yusuf and Kiai Adang Badruddin, Ya Allah, and raise their stations in your divine presence and bless their souls for all eternity. O Allah, shower your blessings upon my beloved father. Ya Allah, raise his station in your divine presence and bless his soul for all eternity. O Allah, shower your blessings upon my mum and upon my mother-in-law and father-in-law. Grant them to be in the best of health and well-being. Grant them to always be in good health and well-being for the rest of their lives. Grant them long lives. Grant them success in every good thing they do. Look after them as they looked after us as children. Ya Allah, shower your blessings upon them. O Allah, shower your blessings upon my brother and my sister and my brothers and sisters-in-law and all of my nieces and nephews. Grant them your divine protection and blessings. Grant them to be in good health and well-being in all respects, mentally, physically, spiritually. Grant them to be under your divine guidance and support. Grant them success in every good thing which they do. O Allah, shower your divine blessings and protection upon my beloved wife, Fiona, and their children, Sophia, Athena, and Elizabeth. Grant our family to always be under your divine protection and in your blessings. Grant that we may not leave this path after you have guided us to it. Grant that my children may always be guided, and if they stray a bit at times, which they inevitably will, that they don't stray too far, Ya Allah, and they return to a path which is good for them and blessed for them. O Allah, shower your blessings upon, especially on this time, Ya Allah, shower your blessings upon my friends, Dr. Safi Kaskas and his wife, Ya Allah. Grant him a swift recovery, Ya Allah. Grant him a full recovery, Ya Allah. Grant his wife to be in good health, Ya Allah. O Allah, shower your blessings upon my friend Nuning and her husband, and grant them to be in the best of health and well-being. Grant her husband a swift recovery and a complete recovery to full health. O Allah, shower your blessings upon my friend Sam Shropshire and his family, and grant that he stays in good health and well-being. O Allah, shower your blessings upon my friend Gus Yahya and his family. Ya Allah, grant him to stay in good health and well-being. O Allah, shower your blessings upon all of my friends, Ya Allah, especially those who have been with me through difficult times, especially Sheikh Robin and Nisha, Sheikh Hisham Kabani and his family, Sheikh Amran and his family, Sheikh Muhammad Adil and his family, Rafiq and his family, Abdul Hamid and his family, Jamil and his family, Nasa and his family, Sekonda and his family, Anu and her family, Devinder and his family, Ushmi and her family, Martin and his family. Ya Allah, shower your blessings upon all of my friends. Shower your blessings at this time on anybody else who is suffering from coronavirus, and grant them swift recovery, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, shower your blessings upon the Naqshbandi tariqat and upon the Najdul Ulama. Ya Allah, shower your blessings upon Sheikh Dawood and his family. Shower your blessings upon Sheikh Amin and his family, and Dr. Wasi and his family. Oh Allah, shower your blessings upon Adnan and his family. Shower your blessings upon Whitney and her family, Hassan and his family, Ihya and his family, Savik and his family, Benny and his family, Ridwan and his family, Ridwan Camille and his family, Her Majesty the Queen and her family. Ya Allah, shower your blessings upon everybody in our human family, especially at this time when people pray for peace and goodwill for all mankind. Ya Allah, when they pray for this, we ask that you make this intention reach deep within their hearts and stay within their hearts and be realized not only in their hearts but in their thoughts and their actions, that they become people who create peace and goodwill for all mankind through their own intentions, through their own actions. Ya Allah, this aspect of Christmas that Christians and other people are celebrating at the moment, let it be realized that we will create peace and goodwill for all mankind. And people remember that you are as-salam. You are the peace that they pray for. There is no peace without you, Allah. And we pray people come to this realization. Oh Allah, Allah. Oh Allah, bless everyone who's connected to me through the Naqshbandi tariqat, through the Association of British Muslims, through Nahdlatul Ulama, through the University of Birmingham chaplaincy, and the various interfaith and intrafaith networks that I'm a member of. Ya Allah, make this as a means of connection between them and my sheikhs. And through my sheikhs and their sheikhs, through the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and through the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to the Divine Presence. And that this becomes a channel through which they may be blessed, through which they may be guided, through which they may be supported through whichever problems which they have. Ya Allah, forgive me for any weaknesses in my part as acting as a conduit for your blessings. And forgive me, Ya Allah. And thank you for your manifold blessings. And forgive us for not thanking you enough. For everything comes from you. And there is only you. And we need to be more appreciative and thankful, Ya Allah. But we can never thank you enough. For you are the source of all. You are the all. Without you there is nothing. Only Allah. Illallah, illallah, illallah. People read it and they don't understand, oh Allah. Ya Allah, bless everybody's souls. Grant people forgiveness. Grant people guidance. Grant us an opening for a more peaceful time. Grant us some wisdom from this pandemic, Ya Allah, that we may do things better after it. Grant us that we may have a more peaceful future. And not only for our human family, but for all the other beings that we share this earth with. Just as entitled to live here as us. Ya Allah, shower your blessings upon them all. All the communities of creatures on this earth. For you granted them all life. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakeel wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa barakatuh. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى سيدنا محمد وبارك وسلم. صلي ربي وسلم على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى كل أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. إلى حضرات النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم وآله وصحبه الكرام وإلى أرواح سوي أنبياء ومرسلين وقدماء الشرعين وإلى أرواح مشايخنا في طريق النقشبندية العالية خاصة روحي إمام طريق وقوتي طريق شعبوردي نقشبند ومد الأويسي البخاري وإلى مولانا الشيخ عبد الله فايز الداغستاني وإلى زندبية وإلى صوفي عبد الله وإلى مولانا الشيخ نازم اللقاني وإلى مولانا الشيخ هشام قباني وإلى قيدانج بدر الدين وإلى قسطو وإلى الشيخ باتشا وإلى الشيخ حبيب الله وإلى الشيخ داود رسول وإلى الشيخ محمد ديل وإلى الشيخ نوكباني وإلى سائر سادتنا وصديقيون. الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. السلام عليكم. Subhanallah. I plan to do my Friday reflections tomorrow, even though it's Christmas Day. Not sure what I'm going to talk about yet because I've already spoken about Christmas today, so it may have some Christmas theme to it as well. Something from an Islamic perspective. As it says in the Quran, to come to a common word, look for that common ground that we share. And we can build on that. So I wish you all in the UK, in Europe, good night. And wherever you are in the world, I wish you blessings and goodwill. If you are celebrating, I wish you a Merry Christmas and that you have a good Christmas. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.